Hi everyone, this is Chris from Chris Watches Pretty Little Liars. And yeah, the schedule is going to be a little wonky here in December. I am so sorry, but I'm just going to get them out as quickly and efficiently as I can. Some episodes. Trying to plan for some fun stuff next year too. We'll see how successful we are. I feel guilty, so I'm going to explain myself every time in these intros why these are late. But just know I'm going to try to get some queued up for the holiday season so you can listen at your leisure. My goodness, last episode was game changer. The show is not done. My God, let's get into it. Chris watches Pretty Little Liars. Chris watches Pretty Little Liars. Chris watches Pretty Little Liars so he can help you figure out who's a... Season 3, episode 13. This is a dark ride. No previously on, which again is a break from tradition, but hey, I like them mixing it up. So we see Mona, she's like singing a song, which comes into play later on because that's how, you'll see. And she's making some weird papier-mâché, right? Is that how you say that? Papier-mâché? Papier-mâché. Head. Someone else is in the room, which I think is Toby, but we don't actually see who it is. I guess, that's a good question, Chris. It might be Toby, but it might be a misdirect based on what we saw last time. Anyway, we see an accomplice here. This is officially the Halloween episode, which I'm sure you all knew. And then they give someone bullets and pills for some reason. Bullets and pills. Okay, cut to the liars going to school. Caleb is getting better. And I wrote in all caps, who shot Caleb? We're just skipping this over? I had to stop and I waited. This is not addressed at all. What? So no closure there. Yeah, that's a little frustrating, but... Apparently, two-time Ted and Hannah's mom are getting romantic, so that's happening. And then there's some person at a house that has an R.I.P. Alison De Laurentiis, and they jump out and they scare, I forget who they scare, but they scare somebody. Clifford Yeardley. Clifford Yeardley is the individual. And they run inside, and they're laughing, and then they go back into the casket and close the door, and we get a spooky Pretty Little Liars opening sequence. Clearly, the show likes Halloween. Now, I do remember back in the day, Freeform had a lot of holiday-themed stuff. So I'm assuming this is a Freeform ABC Family mandate. But yeah, they went all out for this Halloween episode. In fact, I would say one of the side stories here, listen, I love this show. You all know this. One of the side stories here makes absolutely no sense at all. Has no connection to anything. Maybe it will, but is just really random, in my opinion. Garrett, for some reason, is inside Spencer's house. We're in the Hastings household. Apparently, he's leaving flowers for his mother, but he wanted to talk to Spencer. There's something he wanted to tell Spencer. He does have to leave town. Just as he's about to say it at this moment, Toby enters, glaring, and Garrett pieces out. Toby says, "I'm not letting Garrett be alone with you." They smooch, and then he gives an evil look. Toby gives an evil look to the world, to us, the viewers. Yeah, I'm not sure where this Toby stuff's coming from, I'll be honest. Caleb and Hannah are smooching. I believe they're in the dentist office, so they're smooching in the storeroom. They knock something over, and they say no one has heard from A since the shooting incident. Again, no addressing the gun. What? How? What? Why is this just not? Why are we just jumping right over that? Don't understand. And I guess everyone's going to the ghost train, but Caleb says I can't go. Arya and Ezra in Ezra's apartment, and Ezra says he can't go. Sorry, I can't make it, which is a little strange. When we see later what happens. A little strange. Anyway, he has a big book interview, so it could be a lot of money. Would pay for a year of his living expenses, which, to be honest, yeah, that's a lot of money. So he's not going. Trick-or-treaters come to the door. I think Arya is the one that answers it, right? And then Ezra has another face. A face for us, like he lied. Interesting, right? I don't know if the show's intention is to turn every significant other currently here in Season 3 against our liars. But already, Toby is working with Mona. I do not trust Paige. I am sorry, folks. That will not change. It's just the way it is. I do trust Caleb, I guess. But this whole shooting thing that isn't addressed, I don't know what to make of that. It's really upsetting. And now they're making Ezra look shifty. Now, I've always had my suspicions that somehow he is involved in more that's been revealed. But particularly in this episode, they hint at, well, I will get there. So they look like they're in the brew. Yeah, it looks like they're in the coffee shop, although I can't really tell. But they're in some sort of pre-party before they get to the shuttle to the train. And this is the big, hey, look at all our costumes for this year's Halloween episode. Hannah is Marilyn Monroe. Lucas looks like a press person, and for some reason, they've forgiven Lucas for every creepy thing he's done. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but okay. Aria is like a flapper person, which turns out she's Daisy from Great Gatsby. So I'm sure it's book accurate. Noel and Jenna stroll in. He's some sort of goofy prince, and she's a pirate. I don't know if there's like something there more or not. And then there's someone wearing the weird baby mask from season 2. And that baby mask person comes back throughout. Now we have to keep track of all of our costumes here. So we have weird baby mask. Okay, so that's creepy number 1. So keep that in mind. Weird baby mask person. Toby and Spencer enter. They're like, looks like they're like film noir, I guess. And they do some sort of like, see you around, kid. Put your lips together and blow, kid. Noel does this whole little drama piece. He pretends he's choking on a nut. Falls to the ground. Toby's there. I think Spencer even tries to help him, and then he has a chest burst gag. He thinks it's very funny. He thinks it's very, very, very funny. Emily enters with Paige. Paige is dressed in like a tuxedo, and Emily is Barbarella. And then Jason enters wearing, I don't know who he's supposed to be. He has like a red shirt and a white t-shirt. I was like, where do I know that from? Is he Zach Morris? I couldn't tell who he's supposed to be. Anyway, worth noting, this happens a few times. Lucas intercepts Jason. He says something to Jason, and then he doesn't go see Spencer right away. Here's where we start the weird side story. We're at the Marin household. Ashley and Two Timing Ted are there. They're handing out candy, okay? We're just kind of setting the stage there. We jump to the train, and guess what? Adam Lambert, world-famous Adam Lambert, is guest starring on this episode of Pretty Little Liars. He has quite a significant role for a little guest spot, but there he is. Surprising nobody, we check in at Bradley, and sure enough, the fake head that Mona was making is pretending that she's in her bed. So Mona's on the loose, as we suspected. Cut to the train. So we see the creepy baby doll person is there. So that's suspect number 1. Creepy baby doll. Creepy baby face mask person. CBFM? CBFM. Creepy baby face mask. So that is one enemy. We'll call them an enemy, for lack of a better word. Someone wearing, I guess it's like the Phantom of the Opera, but it's not exactly. But anyway, someone wearing a mask grabs Hannah, and sure enough, I'm like, it's Caleb. I saw the long hair, and it's Caleb. We find out later it is Caleb, but she's like, she's like, hey, don't grab my butt. And I'm like, that's Caleb. Jenna and Toby see each other, and I just wrote in my notes, they're not friends. Now, you might think that, of course, Chris, they're not friends. They had this whole thing for 3 seasons. Why would you write in your notes not friends? We know Toby is working with Mona. We know Mona has no love for Jenna. So this is the start. This is could be the crux of our A network. It could be, this is a little theory crafting, it could be Mona came to Toby and said, look, I know you don't like Jenna. Jenna's doing some A shit. How about you join my team, and we're going to take down Jenna. Cut to Spencer and Jason having another, it looks like they're about to have a conversation. Lucas gives another look. He's like, yeah, I'm back in town, blah, blah, blah. Cut to Marin and Ted, Two Timing Ted. And there's a weird girl in Mom Marin's kitchen. And she's like, I need to call my mother. And they have like a weird voice effect on this little girl. So I'm already like, oh, is she a ghost? Like, what is this? What is going on here? So there you go. So on the train, Hannah and Caleb have a smooch. Again, of course, Caleb. And I was like, boy, this train's going really fast. This whole party seems extremely dangerous. But regardless, cut to Aria having a drink by herself at a little booth. Adam Lambert kind of walks up. They have a quick chat. And, Adam seems very pleasant. Aria writes her name on the glass since he can't hear her name, so it says A-R-I-A. Another creep. This, I believe, is our mask with I would call this the Joker mask. They have like the little 4 points sticking out of the mask. Okay. And I will admit, I thought this was Mona, but it's not. So this person has a little powder, which I assume is the pills. So it cannot be, oh wow, who the hell is this then? No, it's gotta be whoever was in the room. So here's my theory crafting. Person in this mask had the powder, was in the room with Mona, but it cannot be Toby, right? Because Toby is here on the train. Interesting. Okay, I'm just working through this in my brain. And it cannot be Caleb. I just worked that out. Sorry. Unless someone's doing quick changes, which I guess you could, in theory, do that. But this person puts powder in Aria's drink. Emily and Paige have a smooch. They're in a private car, and it looks like someone is watching them. Someone's watching them. So Spencer's walking through the train cars, and she hears that same song that we heard, that Mona singing. And then a baby mask person grabs Spencer. Okay, so keeping track of, that person was at the party beforehand. They spotted them in the train. And now that person grabs Spencer. Turns out, it's Garrett. Garrett was in the baby mask that whole time. So he says, I gotta tell you all this, then I gotta go. I gotta tell you all this, and I'm gonna go forever. So I'm just gonna detail as much as he gives this is a big reveal here. Garrett gives a lot of information. So he says on the night of Allison's death, they're on Allison's room, which is the video that we saw. So it's him, Ian, Melissa, Jenna. He and Jenna leave, leaving Ian and Melissa inside Allison's room. Jenna and Garrett go outside together. They're doing like a little walkabout. I believe it's Garrett that says you can't trust them. Allison walks up to Garrett and Jenna, and there's a little fight between Jenna and Allison. Allison gets pushed down by Jenna, and Garrett has a hockey stick. And then Jenna says to Garrett, "Is she dead?" Allison puts her finger over her mouth as to say shush, and Garrett says, "I took care of it." So the hockey stick is not the murder weapon, which I guess we assumed already anyway. Garrett says Jenna thinks he killed Allison. So everything that we've seen her do with the autopsy report and all this stuff is because she thinks he killed Allison. Which further, this whole episode confirms my fake death theory. Anywho, and then Garrett has a little bit more. He goes, I needed to come back to see if Allison was fine. He comes back later. This is all on the same night. Allison is talking to Byron motherfucking Montgomery. Allison is talking to Arya's dad, and Garrett says she was alive when he left. He's like, I don't want any part of this, because he made like a little, noise in the trees. They look, and he runs away. And I wrote in my notes, already. Garrett's gonna die, right? Garrett's so dead. So babyface equals Garrett. We don't know yet who Joker person is, and we're gonna have a third person here in a moment. So Caleb and Hannah discover Arya is missing, and we see the RIA is erased from the window. Just A remains, okay? And then they all get a text, guess who's not going to make it to the end of this line -A? And then we see Arya is duct taped in mouth and hands in somewhere. We find out later where, but she's been taken prisoner. So Emily, Hannah, and Spencer can't find her. They've looked all over the train, they can't find her. Spencer drops the whole Byron Montgomery thing. They're like, you can't believe Garrett, he's a liar. And I think Hannah's the one that says everyone's messing with us. And then we, the viewers, find out Arya's in a crate somewhere. And then someone in a new mask. So this is a third mask. This is like a weird, like melted baby face mask, right? So they're wearing, first they're wearing the same costume Caleb is, right? So they grab Hannah. And let me be honest, Emily has said this, one of my previous guests, that she said she thought someone else had romantic feelings towards Hannah. This person starts, dancing with Hannah, making kind of spicy moves. Hannah takes the mask off, and it's a baby face mask. And she sees Caleb, like, over there, and she freaks out. That person runs away. And I wrote in my notes, Mona, ? Back to Ted and Ashley. This creepy blonde girl is is now in her room, in Ashley's room, and she says these really weird things. There's this weird voice effect. And Ashley's like, I don't know, there's this whole story about how her sister's mean to her, and does my mom love me, all this stuff. Ashley touches this little girl's hand, and it's cold to the touch. She runs downstairs, says, hey, two-timing Ted, can you help me up here? They run up there, and of course, the girl is gone. Spencer is walking along, and then she is attacked. This is a violent fight here. Star masked person and Spencer go at it. It looks really bad. This person looks like they're ready to choke her out. Paige comes to the rescue, so that happens. And they find a nail, like a nail, and they suspect it could be, they're like, oh, does this belong to a woman? And someone's like, well, it could also belong to a gentleman as well. So the nail is no big clue. They even call it out here that it might not be as good of a hint as we think. And sure enough, we zoom out in Arya's crate. Garrett is there dead. Big surprise, right? The liars are going to try to find Arya. Spencer says, thanks, Paige. Oh, boy. And now the crate is being lifted. So wherever Arya and Garrett are, they're being lifted off of the train. And I wrote Paige and Jenna run into each other, and they have a glare off, which I think is to show us something. The people doing this cannot be the two of them. The crate is dragging. We hear Devil. Why did I put Devil Lady? Oh, yeah. So I think it's the woman with the stars, and there is a male voice. Now, I did cheat a little bit. I did turn on the closed captions, and it does say male voice. It did not say who. And then this male voice says, you lied to me. I can't do this. So who the hell could that be? So Arya does stab this person. So we're going to look for someone who has a hand injury at some point. I think she stabs the male person. So she stabs this person. The liars eventually find her. They open the crate. They save her the day, but Garrett is dead, of course. They scream and shout. Back to Ted and Ashley. And then Ashley's like, you didn't see that little girl? Oh, my God. Was that a ghost? Yeah, I think it's a Halloween, just like fun thing they threw in there. I don't really understand that part. And then finally, the police do show up. The train is ended. And there's a whole bunch of suspects in this car here. And I forgot to mention this. There's a little thing done, but Jenna does use Lucas's camera. So Lucas was gone for a portion of the time. So he might have been helping lower the crate off of the train. So I put Lucas or Toby / Mona. Yeah, I don't know who that could have been. I don't know. I'm confused. I'm confused who these people are. Anyway, A killed Garrett. A could kill them. And 2 of the NAT folks are now dead. We have Garrett. Garrett is for sure dead because we saw him dead. Ian, as we know, faked his death. Ezra, of all people, shows up. And I was like, what the fuck is he doing here? Again, leading a little suspicion of mine, like, is he more involved than we've been let on? So we had a Toby versus Noel fight like this, and then they bump into the, like, this drink area. There's like this little table with all the drinks and had full of ice, and sure enough, how convenient, they knock it over. A body bag rolls out. Sharon and Sons on the bag. We assume, well, we don't assume this. I need to rewatch this fight because I suspect we all think, oh my God, that's Allison's body. But I think what we're going to discover is that Allison is not in that bag. And then finally, Mona's back in her bed. And sure enough, we see the baby mask, not the Garrett mask, but the second mask that danced with Hannah. So we are to assume, everything is suspect here. She was not Star Mask people. She was having a little slow dance with Hannah. And then we have a flashback to end all flashbacks, confirming a theory I've had for a while. We see the gazebo dirt, ostensibly where they buried Allison. And sure enough, a hand reaches out from the dirt. Season 3, episode 13, everybody. Confirming. I'm saying right now, confirming my long-held theory, and we should all see it as for ourselves. Allison is not dead. I think I've said enough. I don't even know if I need to recap any theories. I am confused as to who is trying to offload Arya and Garrett. I do think the male voice is going to have a hand injury, so we're going to keep an eye out for that. I think whoever was helping Star Mask person probably was not in a costume and did not know who was inside the crate. Now, they may think Garrett's in there, but I don't think they know Arya's in there. So if it does turn out to be Ezra, I don't think he knew she was in there. But yeah, so I don't know who that was. I guess anyone could have changed costumes. I mean, it could be Ian and or Melissa. You know, Melissa's pretty... Boy, that'd be messed up if that was Melissa attacking her sister, right? But maybe it was. I don't know. I think that's it for now. My name is Chris McGowan. You can find me on Instagram, Amagoogs. I'm going to be using TikTok a little bit more. I'm using my Twitch handle on there, so you might find me there as Mac2TheGow. It might be game-related, but who knows? It might be a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. I actually have another TikTok that I might use for maybe PLL stuff. But that's one. You can also find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mac2TheGow, G-O-W, occasionally twitching games. And yeah, I'm sorry again for the infrequent publishing this month. It's been a little weird, my schedule-wise, but if you're hearing this in time for the holidays, have a great holiday season. Have a great new year. I'm hoping to get at least 1 or 2 more out before the end of the year. And I think I've said too much.
He's Garrett, undercover, fighting crime in his comfy coat. I said he's Garrett, undercover.